Good morning everybody and welcome back to the Purely Perfect Peaks channel. Now, unfortunately, the United Kingdom, as it stands, is still in a state of national lockdown, so we still can't travel very far to do any filming for walks for the channel. And all the ones that are within a reasonable local area, I've already filmed. So I'm a little bit out of ideas, but Instagram came to my rescue. I put a story upon my Instagram right there and asked if you'd like to see me make my cinnamon roll recipe, which personally I believe is rather good. Now, I am an amateur baker. It's just something that I developed, skill that I've been learning during lockdown. But let's bake this. Okay, so here we are beginning our recipe. You will need 14 grams of strong white bread flour in a saucepan. What we're making is a Tanzhong starter, a Roux starter. This recipe is based on the Japanese milk bread, Hokkaido bread. So 14 grams strong white bread flour. Adding into that, you will need 43 grams of milk. Now, I'm using oat milk, but that's literally just the milk that I have in my fridge. You can use any kind of milk you desire. As well as the milk, we will need another 43 grams of water. So that's 14 grams flour, 43 grams of milk, and 43 grams of water. The more astute mathematicians will note that that is 100 grams in total. Take your saucepan over to your stovetop and whisk together all of your mixture, although it would be rather useful if I turned the hob on. So make sure your oven is on. And you're whisking that all together, cooking it down until it makes a thick paste. This paste is your Roux starter, your Tanzhong starter that you will need to scrape out into a bowl. So that thick paste is what you need. Make sure you get all of it out and into a bowl, set aside whilst we're preparing the rest of this recipe. Set it aside to cool. You want it to be a little bit cooler before you're adding it into the rest of your recipe. So that set aside, we need 115 grams of milk and 10 grams of instant yeast. Now make sure that your milk has been warmed up. You'll need to activate your yeast. Make sure that it is still alive. So whisk together your yeast and your warm milk mixture and set that aside to bloom. Now in a mixing bowl, you will need to combine 300 grams of strong white bread flour. You will also need to combine it with 50 grams of soft brown sugar. Now you can use white sugar, but for this recipe, for the cinnamon rolls, I prefer to use brown sugar, soft brown sugar. It's much better. Don't forget to add in as well 5 grams of salt, just to add a little bit of extra flavor to balance everything out. And then make sure you mix all of that together nice and thoroughly so then everything gets combined evenly when you are mixing together your dough. So set that aside, weigh out 50 grams of butter. Now you will need to melt this butter in the microwave. Please, if you are a child, do this in the supervision of an adult, because melting butter in the microwave can result in an explosion. Now our milk and yeast mixture is nice and bubbly, it's nice and frothy, so it is bloomed, so we can continue with combining. So add in your Tanzhong starter, 1 large egg, and the melted butter to your bowl. And then add in your yeasty, milky goodness. Mix all of that together till it is thoroughly combined and turn it out, tip it out onto a floured work surface. And here we go, it is time to get kneading for a good 8 minutes. Okay, and once your dough is proved, or whilst your dough is proving, you can add 100 grams of soft brown sugar into a bowl and mix it together with 2 heaped tablespoons of your finest ground cinnamon, or Aldi's ground cinnamon in this case. Mix all of that together in a bowl, and you will need to melt 55 grams of butter. Dust down your work surface, turn out your dough and knock it back, and then roll it out into a square, into a rectangle. Roll it out as thin or as thick as you like, and spread each and every individual section with your melted butter. You want this cinnamon sugar mixture to stick to all of the edges. So cinnamon sugar spread all over like that, and then you are rolling this up tight and cutting it into even-sized chunks and spacing them out onto a rimmed baking sheet. Leave it to prove for another half an hour, and then add into the oven, as I'm doing here, at 220 degrees Celsius for about 10 minutes. Once they are nice and fluffed up and golden brown, it's time to check out these bad boys. Okay everybody, and that is my cinnamon roll recipe. Now you can add like an icing sugar topping on them, but if you're taking them out hiking or cycling, you're going to put them in a bag and that topping's just going to stick to the inside of the bag and you'll lose it all anyway. Personally, I think they are sweet enough without, so without further ado. So good. It's chewy, the bottom is crunchy, it's sweet. You can taste the cinnamon, but it's not too sweet. And it's just, oh God, it's so good. I mean, they're a bit too hot because I've literally just taken them out the oven. Do leave them to cool. But anyway, oh my God, that's so tasty. But anyway, this has been Purely Perfect Peaks. We're doing something a little bit different during the lockdown, trying to bring you guys some, well, hopefully still interesting content. If you liked it, smash the like button. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more next week. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. And we'll see you next week. Good morning everybody, and welcome back to the Purely Perfect Peaks channel. Unfortunately